Oh, what a day. What a lovely day. The chase is on in this latest episode of Movies Merica, okay? And it's a throwback episode of Mad Max Fury Road. Yes, and it's spoiler free though, because there might be somebody out there that hasn't seen this movie, okay? And now, do I think you should see it? Hey, you'll just have to keep tuning in to this episode, all right? So let's get right into Mad Max Fury Road.
In a world where the number of movies available is great, but many are so bad, you'll learn a new definition of hate. One man sifts and reviews through the movie sludge. One man will be the movie cop, jury, and judge. He goes by many names, but you know him by Movies Merica.
Hey there, my movie maniacs, my fellow freedom-fueled film fanatics. Welcome to this latest episode of Movies Merica. Come on in, kick up your feet, relax your mind. It's time to unwind here with Movies Merica in this throwback episode of Movies Merica. Okay, we're going way back into ancient times of 2015 with this spoiler-free review of Mad Max Fury Road. Now, I hesitated there for a second because when I say spoiler-free, I'm doing that because I know it may sound strange to some of you out there, but some people may not have seen Mad Max Fury Road, okay? I know it's mind-boggling to me as well, okay? But yeah, you've got it, if you haven't seen this, go see this, and you can use this spoiler-free review to
Let's go, on board, let's go.
kind of prep yourself. Although there's really no need to prep yourself really though. Just go out and watch Mad Max Fury Road, okay? So, all right, so let's get right into it. Okay, so with the synopsis of Mad Max Fury Road, or at least part of it, okay, because this is spoiler-free. I'm not going to give away everything, right? And so, it revolves around Max Rockatansky, or Mad Max, okay? And it starts out with him. He's captured by some war boys, okay? And war boys are these characters that are allegiant and loyal to the main baddie in this movie called Immortan Joe, okay? And so everyone's trying to get gas because this is in a post-apocalyptic world. A nuclear war took place, and so fuel and water are in short supply. And so everyone's going around and ravaging anybody, especially strangers, okay, well, I guess strangers, that may have supplies like gas and water, and so they're more than happy to kill at will, okay, to get supplies from other people. And so these are war boys who do this on behalf of Immortan Joe, okay? And then they take Mad Max, they capture him, they tattoo him with information like with his blood type and that kind of thing, and other things that you'll see in the movie, okay? And he's got long hair. They shave all that off. They do like some pretty weird stuff to him while he's captive. And then another main character, Imperator Furiosa, played by Charlize Theron. And I should mention Mad Max is played by Tom Hardy, okay? So Imperator Furiosa is kind of like the general for Immortan Joe, like his main military leader, okay? And so she's going out on a mission to get some more gas or bullets or both, okay? And so she kidnaps the wives of Immortan Joe, okay? He's got multiple wives. He's a post-apocalyptic warlord, if I can say that. And so she kidnaps them, gets them out of that bad situation. And so then he realizes this is happening. He rallies his troops, and so the chase is on. Okay, the chase is on, and Mad Max gets recruited, or as kind of this is what they call a blood bag. Okay, because there's a character named Nux, played by Nicholas Hoult, and he's like I think they call him like a half-life or something because he doesn't have very long to live. He's short on blood supply and that kind of thing. And so Nux is part of the chase. He's one of the war boys for Immortan Joe. And so since the chase is on, he joins the chase, and he's not quite physically ready to go out there because he's low on blood. So that's why he hooks up Mad Max as what he calls a blood bag, where he does a transfusion. And so he's using Mad Max's blood to keep him going, basically. And so he hooks Mad Max up to the front of his car because he's got to get in his car as part of this big chase, right? And so he's got Mad Max's blood transfusing into his veins because he's got Mad Max hooked to the front of his car. So it's that kind of movie with that kind of stuff going on. I mean, it's one of those things that makes this movie so interesting. But like I said, the chase is on. They're chasing Furiosa and the 5 wives that she saved from the big baddie Immortan Joe. Okay, so point is the chase is on, and our movie jumps off. That's the jumping off point. Okay. Now, one thing I want to mention here, another thing I want to mention about this movie right from the jump here, is that you can't go into this movie expecting this movie and the world within it to be, you can't have a burning need to have the world in this movie seem as realistic as the world in a documentary. Okay, this is not a documentary. This is a fantastical world, okay? And you have to remember, what's the point of having a world in a movie seem so realistic and similar to the world that you're trying to escape by watching the movie? That makes no sense. Tom Hardy was 6 weeks old when George Miller and Mel Gibson made the original Mad Max movie in 1979.
Wow.
Let that sink in for a minute. Okay. But basically, he continues off where Mel left off in portraying this lethal, cunning, tough, gritty, but guilt-ridden ex-cop that now lives in a world with no law and no order. I don't think he actually has a line, though, in this movie until 35 minutes into the movie. However, when he speaks, he does speak and delivers his lines in a menacing, do-as-I-say tone of voice. He is in no mood, okay? And in this one, you can actually understand what Tom Hardy says, unlike in The Dark Knight Rises, okay? Now, in this movie, the character that you can't understand very well is actually Immortan Joe, okay? Again, the big baddie, the post-apocalyptic warlord. And then we have Charlize Theron as Furiosa. And she really is a co-star to Mad Max that Mel Gibson didn't have. Okay, Tom Hardy really has a co-star in this. Again, like Mel Gibson never had in his 3 Mad Max movies. Not even Tina Turner and Mad Max Beyond Thunderdome would be somebody you'd consider a co-star. But as George Miller, the director of this movie, would tell it, so the studio said, well, if you're going to have these characters, these 5 wives that Immortan Joe keeps, okay, you're going to have to make the character that helps him escape be a woman. So apparently having a part in the story where a post-apocalyptic warlord keeps women that basically look like Victoria's Secret models purely for breeding was just too much for the studio. So they wanted George Miller to show some sort of a contrition.
We're not worthy! We're not worthy!
And so that's why they demanded that their rescuer be a female character. And to me, the 5 wives, it's just a story, okay? It's totally plausible to think that an evil villain would do something that misogynistic, right? To to have wives that look like Victoria's Secret models just purely for breeding purposes, okay? And it just makes the villain more hateable. So to me, I'm like, hey, it's an ingenious part of the story, all right? It makes you, love to hate the villain all that much more. And so it's not something a writer or a director should pay a penance for, in my opinion. But that being said, Furiosa is a great character in this, and Theron plays her with fantastic ferocity and emotion in this. Here you really can see the acting talent that Theron used to win herself a Best Actress Oscar for the movie Monster. And Furiosa, this character, she's been to hell and back again, and she has the requisite badass skills to show for it. She's so good that they're actually making a Furiosa origin story movie starring Anya Taylor-Joy and Chris Hemsworth, and that's coming out in 2024. So we've got that to look forward to. Now, this show is spoiler-free, but this Thursday night, get ready to get spoiled rotten, okay? I am going to get all spoilery with Mad Max Fury Road, okay? This Thursday on my Movies Merica spoiler warning show. That's right. This is a show where I'm going to have all kinds of spoiler discussion, commentary, everything Mad Max Fury Road. But I don't want to just do it by myself, okay? I want you to join me because you can live chat with me, okay? You can ask questions via live chat. You can comment. You can request. You can say, hey, Van, I want you to talk about this part of Mad Max Fury Road, or comment, hey, I really like this character, or hey, I like this part where this guy got killed, or I like this scene, or something like that, okay? And you'll be able to do that on the Movies Merica Spoiler Warning Show this Thursday night, and that's going to be at 7 Eastern, 4 Pacific, so that's 6 Central, 5 Mountain Time, okay? And all you have to do is search on Rumble, because that's the cool place to check out my show, okay? It's just got that chill, cool vibe, the cool club vibe, that you can hang out with your friends and have a good time. It's got that vibe there, and I would check it out there instead of YouTube. But on Rumble, you just have to search for Movies Merica, and you'll see the Movies Merica episode, and you'll see that Movies Merica spoiler warning will be there. You might not see it until Thursday, okay? But at least you'll be able to see all the other Movies Merica content if you do that, okay? And or you can wait till Thursday and check out me at Movies Merica on Twitter, and you'll see the links on Twitter there as well, or Facebook under Movies Merica as well, okay? If you want to watch it on YouTube, you can. You either just have to use the YouTube link that comes out on Thursday, or you can go to YouTube and just search for Movies Merica. Unfortunately, since YouTube is lame and stupid and it doesn't take your word for what you want to search for when you actually type in Movies Merica, it tries to search for Movies America instead. Wrong, okay? So right underneath where you typed in Movies Merica, it says search instead for Movies Merica. Click that, and that'll jostle YouTube into not being a complete moron and actually search for what you originally typed in, okay? But it's much easier just to go to Rumble again, where the cool kids hang out, okay? And just watch it there, all right? And you can live chat from Rumble or YouTube, all right? But I definitely want to see you guys there, so please join me. Yeah, this Thursday night at 7 Eastern, 4 Pacific. It's called Movies Merica Spoiler Warning. Hope to see you there. The director, George Miller, hadn't done anything with the Mad Max franchise that he created for over 30 years, but he directed the Babe movies like Babe and Babe, Pig in the City, and Happy Feet, the Happy Feet movies, and he left those behind to simply make the very best Mad Max movie in the entire franchise, hands down here with Mad Max Fury Road. Now, he would have made this movie earlier, but he had to deal with things delaying it, like 9/11. At one point, the Australian currency collapsed, so that stopped him from making this. Oddly enough, the desert that he was going to film this in Australia actually had a bunch of rain, and the desert actually turned into a wetland of all things, okay? And just to provide you with a little history about George Miller, before he was a director, he actually was a doctor who did rotations in big city emergency rooms, okay? So as a result of doing that, he had to work on many car accident victims, okay? Interestingly enough, though, that didn't deter him from creating this Mad Max franchise that, quite honestly, features car accident carnage galore, okay? Actually, it sounds like it made him even more fascinated by the subject matter. And then also to mention, like, from his childhood, he grew up in Australia, in a rural area of Australia, and the town that he lived in rural Australia actually had like these long, flat, straight roadways, okay, that you see a lot of in Mad Max Fury Road, and particularly like the Road Warrior, the second Mad Max movie, and then Mad Max, the original Mad Max movie. And having a car there in that little rural town was a way of life. So I think all that joined together to create this interest, this burning desire to make these action movies that are car-centric, okay? And I have to say, George Miller has quite the eclectic filmography, okay? He is not pigeonholed into one type of movie whatsoever, okay? Of course, he made the Mad Max movies, but then he's also directed movies like The Witches of Eastwick, okay? That starred Jack Nicholson, and then it had Michelle Pfeiffer and Cher and Susan Sarandon playing witches, and then Jack Nicholson played the devil, okay? So totally different from the Mad Max movies. Did Lorenzo's Oil with Nick Nolte and Susan Sarandon again, which was like a family medical drama, totally different from Mad Max as well, of course. Did the Babe kid movies, okay, the Babe movies, another couple of kid movies, the Happy Feet movies with the dancing penguins and all that. And then most interestingly, well, actually, I should say most recently, he's done the interesting 3,000 Years of Longing movie here with Tilda Swinton and Idris Elba. Man, total brain fart on that name. So Idris Elba and Tilda Swinton was in this 3,000 Years of Longing that I do have a review for on Movies Merica. Just got to look it up. You can check out my opinion and my review of 3,000 Years of Longing. So it's out there, okay? But you can check that out. But yeah, I mean, all that to say, George Miller, he is a master storyteller, pure and simple. The stunts in this movie are incredible, okay? And very little CGI was used in this entire movie. Now, obviously, the massively spectacular, eye-popping toxic storm sequence with flying, exploding cars and bodies, that was CGI, okay? You're not doing that practically, okay? But mostly everything else was practical effects and stunts, okay? And it shows on the screen. I mean, it's just amazing to watch, okay? So, and then even the poles, like the vaulting poles that they have on the polecat cars, where war boys like swing from one vehicle to the other. Even that was done practically, and that was done on the move, okay? And now, if you've seen the movie, you're totally picturing in your mind like what I'm talking about, and it's amazing that was all done practically. And even Tom Hardy was at the top of one of those poles. Okay, now if you haven't seen the movie, you're not going to grasp it near as well, but it's going to make watching it for the very first time even that much more sweet. Okay, and then even the massive explosions, which there are a lot of, were real. Okay, and there's actually like a YouTube video or a Rumble video there that actually shows you the filming of this movie. And that is almost as spectacular as the actual movie, where it shows you all the explosions going off in real life and all the stunt work being done. So check that out, okay? Now, there was some post-production coloring in on explosions and that kind of thing, just since George Miller wanted everything to be as colorful as possible. And the reason that he wanted that is because he wanted this post-apocalyptic movie to stand out from all the other post-apocalyptic movies that you see, where the coloring is typically very subdued and kind of washed out, you know. It's not very colorful. So he wanted this movie to stand out. So that's why he wanted everything colorful as possible. And the vehicles in this movie are also mind-blowing. You even have one where Max is rigged up as the blood bag, as I mentioned before, right at the front of the car, and that's Nux's car, who I mentioned before as one of the war boys. And then the characters, particularly the war boys, they worship cars, or more to the point, the engines inside the cars. And that's because they see the engines as like semi-religious artifacts, because they're well aware that these engines actually survived the nuclear apocalypse, okay? And so, yeah, they think of them in a religious sense, in a way. I thought that the coolest car in this was Immortan Joe's Gigahorse, which is basically two 1959 Cadillac Coupe de Villes, basically built, welded on top of each other. And then it's got these big 70-inch tractor tires on the rear of this massive, cool car that Immortan Joe has. Now, the war rig, which is what you see Furiosa in most of the time, she's transporting the 5 wives and using that to get away in the chase. That's pretty cool as well, just because it's just massive. But it's also got a cool setup inside with places you can hide people and guns. And the heavy metal decorative look to it, from the steering wheel to the gear shifter inside of it, is just badass, okay? And I personally like, concerning the war rig there, I personally like the intricate, complex kill switch sequence that Furiosa actually devised herself for controlling who can fire up the war rig, okay? So basically it's like first switch, second and third simultaneously, red switch, black switch, and then finally ignition switch. So that's like the ignition or the kill switch sequence that she's devised to control who can actually, drive the war rig. I tell you, this movie is so immersive and cool. Okay, my movie maniacs, my fellow freedom-fueled film fanatics, let me thank you for getting to this point, for holding on and staying here with me for this long right here. Hopefully you've been entertained up to this point and will continue to be entertained, okay? But I'd just like to take a moment to ask you to hit the subscribe button down below and the like button to like this video, okay? And then hit that notification bell so that you get notified of brand new episodes, brand new piping hot, fresh for you episodes of Movies Merica, okay? And then also get down in those comments, okay? Because I want to hear from you, all right? I want to hear from you, and I want to hear about, some tips. If you have tips for me as far as like things you think I can do better, things that you like, movies that you want me to review, your favorite part of Mad Max Fury Road, just whatever. Let your imagination go wild. And it doesn't have to be a long comment. You don't have to, write a Stephen King novel, right? Just write whatever you want, okay? I'd love to hear from you, okay? And that's down in the comments section, all right? And then also go to tdpn.locals.com, as TDPN, as in Till Death Podcast Network, because that's where myself and Ian and Sean, we have all our can't find it anywhere else content, all about movies, entertainment, hot button issues, politics, movies. Well, I already said movies. Come on, Van. Drink recipes. You're going to find out to make like the best old-fashioned you ever had, and other cocktails, that kind of thing. So again, that's all at tdpn.locals.com. And if you go there right now and enter in promo code TDPN, you get a free month of tdpn.locals.com. And then after that month, it's just $3 a month, okay? It's a box of Twinkies, right? Okay? That's That's a box of Hot Pockets. That's nothing, okay? Even I don't think $3 is that much, and I'm a cheapskate, okay? All right. So again, yeah, just subscribe to this channel, like this video if you would, hit that notification bell, comment, and finally, go to tdpn.locals.com. You'd be doing me a solid. All right, on with the show. This movie so has weird, psychotically grotesque, but delightful characters. Now, they're one of the many reasons why you will not be getting any sleep while watching Mad Max Fury Road, okay? Well, unless you've seen it 800 times, like me, okay? And George Miller and co-writers Nick Lathoris and Brendan McCarthy, they've even come up with these characters. They've come up with these characters and their backstories. And actually, they've even written Bibles containing mass quantities of backstory information for some of the characters like Nux and Immortan Joe, Furiosa, and of course, Mad Max himself. You should really go out to the Mad Max wiki page and just read all about these characters, okay? I mean, there's a ton of characters in the Mad Max world you could read about. And believe me, don't plan on getting anything done because you're going to be captivated for hours out there, okay, checking out all these characters. And also, I should mention, I have to mention that the main baddie in this Immortan Joe, again, is played by Hugh Keays-Byrne, who actually played the main baddie in the very first Mad Max movie made way back in 1979. That villain's name was Toe Cutter, okay? So we've got this, the cyclical, is it cyclical? Whatever. Say that 10 times real fast, okay? Connection from this very latest Mad Max Fury Road, or Mad Max movie, all the way back to the very first one back in 1979. Also, I have to say, the whimsically cool character names in this movie are a blast to say. I mean, you've got Toast the Knowing, Rictus Erectus, the Splendid Angarod, the Organic Mechanic, Cheeto the Fragile, and of course, the Doof Warrior, okay? He's the flame-throwing guitar player that you see during the chase scenes. And he actually he controls the flames that comes out of the end of his guitar with the whammy bar on the guitar. And he does that. He's playing this guitar with the flames shooting out the end of the guitar, actually while hooked to bungee cords that are actually hooked to the front of impractically massive speakers, especially for this post-apocalyptic time that this movie takes place in. And so he's up there playing this massive flame-throwing guitar and melting faces, okay? And so that character's name is the Doof Warrior, okay? Again, another character with a cool, whimsical name like many other characters. And that list of character names that I read off, that's the tip of the iceberg. That's not even near all of them in the movie, okay? Now, about the Doof Warrior, the flame-throwing guitar player, a rather grotesque fact about him is sometimes he wears a mask made out of the dried skin of his murdered mother's screaming face. Wow. That's right, ladies and gents, boys and girls. It is brew review time. And I hope you came thirsty, okay? Because it wouldn't be an episode of Movies Merica without a cool brew review for you. Yeah, that rhymes. Ha ha. Take that, Jay-Z, okay? All right, hey, enough of that. Let's get right to the beer. And so today's lucky beer is Rawr & Sons Brewing Company Texas Red. Yeah, if you want to get yourself a taste of Texas, you get yourself some Rawr & Sons Texas Red, okay? And you know what? If you're down here in Texas and you're getting yourself a steak, you got to have something to wash it down with, all right? And nothing better than a little Texas Red, okay? I mean, from where I live, I could swing a dead cat and hit about 27 steakhouses right around me. And I know I'm going to consider Texas Red to wash it down with because I have all kinds of other choices. But Texas Red would definitely be on my consideration list, okay? But yeah, it's just an American lager. It's pretty good. It's pretty cool and crisp and whatnot. It's not too heavy, and it tastes a whole lot better than Bud Light from Anheuser-Busch. Okay, none of that here. We go with the little microbrewery for tonight's episode and brew review. Okay, so hey, with that, let me take a little tug off this bad boy. Oh yeah, that's like liquid from heaven right there. Liquid heaven in a can. Absolutely, okay? But yeah, I would recommend it, and I'm not getting any money from this brewery, and I'm not getting any money from a couple of websites that I would recommend to get this, possibly if you live in Walla Walla, Washington, or Bangor, Maine, or someplace that isn't Texas. There's gopuff.com, and then there's drizzly.com you can go to. And again, I'm like I was about to say, I'm not getting any money from them or this brewer, but you can check it out there. All right, everybody, I hope you've enjoyed this brew review time. And now, on with the show. Another very cool part of Mad Max Fury Road is the world building, okay? The world building sucks you into this movie even further. And the production design, or the world building, by Colin Gibson is extraordinary. Part of it is it's a menagerie of repurposed found objects, okay? And like a perfect example of this is the wrench that you see as part of Furiosa's metal arm, because she's missing, I can't remember if it's her left arm or her right arm, but she's missing one of the arms, and so she's got this metal arm to replace it. And part of this metal arm is a wrench that they've incorporated into it to make it work. And he creates this amazing world that features locations in it, like a location called the Citadel. And then there's also these canyons where these characters called the Rock Riders, they rule on their motorcycles. And apparently the production design was so amazing that Colin Gibson won the 2016 Oscar for production design, okay? So apparently the Academy voters were very impressed with it as well. And the Citadel just looks cool with the fact that it's built into this massive rock structure. And inside it's even got a greenhouse, and it's got these relatively luxurious lodgings in it, okay? And I just have to mention the size of that massive vault door that takes you into a Morton Joe's living quarters in there. Like, wow. Okay, it's just massive. And then plus there's machinery in the Citadel that is used to control this vehicle elevator that they use. And the machinery, like these gears and pulleys and levers, are just massive. Okay, the chains and all that, just massive. Is really cool. So it's another cool part of Colin Gibson's production design. And then also you get this altar that is made up of steering wheels for each of the cars in the movie, right? And the altar of steering wheels is held with reverence by the War Boys. They revere and they're devoted to the steering wheels, because each of the War Boys have their own steering wheel for their own cars, of course. And then also another part of the cool production design is this swampland area with these creepy swamp people just creeping around on their stilts, okay? And then also there's the culture of this world. Part of that culture is the War Boys and their suicidal tendencies to ultimately end up in Valhalla, okay? They want to die to get to Valhalla, because in this movie they see Valhalla as this afterworld, this paradise, like the Vikings, right? Believe in Valhalla. And so they have these suicidal tendencies to be a martyr to ultimately end up in Valhalla. I don't know if they get 72 virgins or anything like that, or however many virgins, right? But they don't mention that in this movie, okay? And then also there's the craving to be shiny in chrome, okay? I'm not sure what that means. I do know like chrome or chroming is like some Australian slang for getting high, or, getting just having some kind of drug reaction or something like that. I think that's chroming is like a Australian slang for that. Okay, I know those Aussies and their weird ways down there. So yeah, and then also, like I mentioned before, they want to be witnessed as a martyr for a Morton Joe, and so in this movie you have Nux and others screaming, "Witness me! Witness me!" And this because they want to be witnessed killing themselves as a martyr for Morton Joe, okay? And then also part of the culture is this V-shaped gesture that the war boys make to each other. And this V-shaped gesture actually is a sign of the V8 engine because, like I said, they have reverence for engines because they know that they survived the nuclear apocalypse. So just very cool stuff in this movie. All right, everybody. Hey, thanks for sticking around this long and doing me a solid, okay? And so since you did me a solid, I'm going to do you a solid. And I'm going to let you know about Nature Clear Recovery Powder. Yes. Now, you may be wondering, oh, he's hawking some product. I know, because that's what I say when I see people, doing a promo or doing a live read, that kind of thing. But you're going to thank me because Nature Clear Recovery Powder comes in handy for something you're actually a part of, most likely, right? Not all of it, but it helps with recovering from a hangover, or more to the point, more importantly, preventing a hangover in the first place, okay? So if you're going out, you're having too many Texas Reds, that I just reviewed, and you don't want to have to worry about a hangover, well, just grab some Nature Clear Recovery Powder and just chug some of that before you go out for the night. So Nature Clear Recovery Powder just comes in these little packets, okay, that you see like Kool-Aid powder in and that kind of thing, okay? And you just have to put that in. It's like 12 ounces of water or a typical water bottle, shake it up and chug that before you go out and have a bunch of Texas Reds or tequila or gin or Jack Daniels or whatever the case may be, okay? But have no fear if you're out there and you're partying it up at your favorite bar, and you're like, oh, man, I forgot to take my Nature Clear. Oh, what am I going to do? Have no fear. Just go home and take your Nature Clear then, and that's also going to prevent the hangover, okay? And also it helps you recover from smoking and vaping as well, okay? So this is just like an all-around Swiss Army knife of recovery, okay? And so by now, I'm sure you're asking yourself, Van, how do I get this terrific product? Because you're a smart person, and that's what you're asking, okay? Well, you just have to go to the Nature Clear description, or Nature Clear link, I should say, down in the description below this episode, okay? Let's click on that link. Takes you to the Nature Clear website, of course. Pick your product that you want to buy, throw it in the cart, and then in the promo code field in the cart, you just have to put promo code MOVIES, okay? That's, again, promo code MOVIES, okay? And you're going to get up to 25% off your Nature Clear order, okay? Believe me, I'm doing you a solid. You may not know it yet, but when you use this product, you'll know it, okay? All right, so thanks a lot for listening to my promo, okay? And now, on with the rest of the review. Well, here's just a few trivia production facts about Mad Max Fury Road. So this was filmed in the deserts of Namibia in southern Africa. Now, they were going to film it in Australia originally, but like I mentioned before, the desert strangely had all this rain, and it actually turned this desert from a desert to wetlands, okay, complete with like flower fields, and it stayed that way for way too long for them to actually film there. Even Warner Brothers even gave them like an extra year to wait it out because I think they were having discussions with Warner Brothers, and Warner Brothers was like, we'll give you a year to wait it out, and then if it's okay by then, if it's desert, then you can film there. But even after a year, they're like, okay, yeah, we gotta go to Africa, okay? And but amazingly enough, all of that was the least of what made this production turbulent, okay? Famously, George Miller and Charlize Theron did not get along with Tom Hardy.
No, God! No! God, please, no!
Charlize Theron actually even broke Tom Hardy's nose while filming a scene in which she had to wear this cast because she had to wear the cast for CGI purposes because of the fake arm. And so she actually broke Tom Hardy's nose as part of filming that scene. Accident? You be the judge. But Tom Hardy actually even ended up apologizing to George Miller at the movie's premiere once he saw the finished movie. And he said the reason was because, so during the movie, he said Miller was just so meticulous and demanding, and Hardy couldn't comprehend why that was. And so Hardy just would get ticked off at him, and they just didn't get along because of that. But then Hardy, at the movie's premiere, he saw the fruits of all those demands, and then suddenly Hardy understood Miller's reasoning as far as like why he had that kind of direction while filming this movie, and he apologized to Miller.
None shall interfere. Do as you please.
It all came together. Also, Theron, actually, she had a epiphany there at the movie premiere because she also got mad at Miller multiple times, self-admittedly, because she felt that he wasn't explaining to her what he was shooting or what the context of the scene was. I mean, so she basically had this big question mark over her head the whole time, you know, like, what am I shooting? What, George, help me out here, you know? And he wouldn't explain it, you know, but because he knew in his head what he was doing. And I'm sure he probably thought, hey, you're actors, all right? I'm the director, all right? I'm directing you, so react to the direction, okay? Trust me, I know what I'm doing. I've done like a bunch of movies before now, okay? And but so again, like I said, she too found herself having an epiphany at the movie's premiere once she saw the completed movie, and then she said that she was regretful of her on-set behavior. So just part of the turbulence of this movie, which kind of matches the turbulent action in this movie. I know, I'm relentless. But I have to remind you and ask you again if you would subscribe to this channel. Just hit that subscribe button down there, all right? And then hit that like button to like this episode, okay? Do me a solid. And then hit that notification bell down there, again, to notify you so you get a heads up when a hot, fresh, piping, sizzling new episode of Movies Merica is ready for you, okay? And then also get in the comments if you would and throw a comment my way. I want to hear from you, okay? I don't want this just to be a one-way communication. I want this to be two-way. I want to hear from you, okay? And then also go to tdpn.locals.com. And like I said before, just put in promo code TDPN and you get a free month of TDPN, okay? And also while you're out there, check out my Movies Merica Mad Libs, okay? If you go out there and you get the free month, or if you pay at least $3 for the website for the content, you can go check out the post up at the top called Movies Merica Mad Libs, and you can add some lines to the scene that we have there. And just read the post, and you'll see what I'm talking about right there. I'd love to get your imagination, get your writing skills and your writing blood flow flowing. That makes no sense. Say, well, I shouldn't be a writer. All right, so but all that to say, go to tdpn.locals.com if you would. All right, on with the show. Okay, my movie maniacs, my fellow freedom-fueled film fanatics, the sun's getting really low in this post-apocalyptic world, and it's time to put a button on all this Mad Max Fury Road madness, okay? But in conclusion, obviously you can tell I would recommend going to see this movie. Yeah! Now, you can't see it in the theaters, unfortunately, okay? You missed that boat. But, yeah, you can check it out, streaming and rent it or buy it or whatever, okay? So, and you can get it in 4K. I have it on 4K. That's how I roll with my Mad Max Fury Road, okay? But, yeah, you should definitely check it out. It's rated R, but it's really rated R just because of some brief moments of violence. And it takes place in a post-apocalyptic world, so it's naturally got that intensity, that kind of thing. But it doesn't have any curse words in it, whatsoever.
I have had it with these monkey fighting snakes on this Monday to Friday plane.
But it's just the violence, pretty much, okay? And so push come to shove, you could have kids watch it. Now, I wouldn't have kids under, say, 10 watch it. But anyway, but I digest, okay? All right, everybody, I'm going to wrap this up, but not before I say and let you know, hey, people, get out there. Those movies aren't going to watch themselves. See ya.
Hey guys, don't leave the video quite yet. Okay, I've got the popo. They're coming after me, and I don't have much time to tell you, but you need to like and subscribe this video right here, down below. It's right down there. It's just waiting. It's waiting for you down there, okay? And make sure you watch these videos over here too. You'll be doing me a big favor. I'll be in handcuffs pretty soon. All right. Thanks for watching.